Today's lesson is called Belgium, a country for all moods. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Roger. We're going to continue talking about the country of Belgium in Europe. Remember, Chinese New Year is coming up here, and some of you may have some time off for your winter break. So you might want to consider traveling to Belgium if you've already been to all the other countries in Europe. Belgium certainly has a lot of things to see, but we don't really want to focus on the capital city of Brussels so much. We're focusing on the smaller cities that steal the show.
The smaller cities there in Belgium do indeed steal the show, okay? When you're remembering your trip to Belgium, that trip you took to Belgium, you won't remember Brussels. You'll remember those smaller cities. They're just that great. Anyways, folks, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
From Dinant, head north to the Flemish city of Ghent to see more wonders. Begin at St. Peter's Abbey, once Belgium's largest. The high point of this attraction is a 90-minute video tour led by a virtual monk named Allison. He'll take you to every nook and cranny in the abbey in search of his friend's murderer. While in Ghent, don't miss the 12th century castle of the Counts. A guillotine, a collection of torture equipment, and suits of armor are displayed inside. For a delicious meal, go to the Paterschol neighborhood, which has many fine restaurants. Typical local dishes include stoverhey, a beef stew, and waterjoy, a chicken or fish stew.
各位好，第一部分我们看到单字 Abbey 这个字是名词，指修道院。例如 Monks lived in this abbey until a few decades ago. 几十年前，仍有修道士住在这个修道院里面。接着我们看到一个形容词 virtual 指电脑虚拟的，像是 The game allows players to create a virtual world on their computer. 这款游戏让玩家在自己的电脑上创造虚拟世界。另外，在这个字的字尾加上 ly 就成了副词 virtually， 表示几乎差不多。我们可以说 Climbing some mountains is virtually impossible. 有些山几乎不可能爬上去。或是You can find a convenience store on virtually any street in Taiwan. 你在台湾差不多大街小巷都能找到便利商店。再来，我们看到单字 guillotine， 这个字是名词，指断头台。举例来说 Many members of royal families went to the guillotine during the revolution. 革命期间，许多皇室成员走上断头台。另外，这个字也可以当动词，指用断头台处决。例如 Thousands of people were guillotined after the new king was crowned. 新王登基后，有上千人被处决。
Let's now talk about the first part of our lesson for today. Now, remember, last time we were in Dinant, and you've already seen the citadel, and you've seen that 13th century church. So now you're ready for something new and interesting. So from Dinant, head north, or go north, to the Flemish city of Ghent to see more wonders. So yes, indeed, in Ghent, there are lots of wonderful things to see. It's another small city in Belgium. So here in the next sentence, it says, begin at St. Peter's Abbey, once Belgium's largest. Now here, Abbey, of course, if you see that word, you might be thinking of the Beatles album Abbey Road, where they're, walking across the street at the zebra crossing there or whatever. It's very famous. But you might be wondering, hey, what does the word Abbey mean? Well, it's kind of like a monastery where monks and nuns live and work.
There you go. Anyways, moving on. The next sentence says, the high point of this attraction, this abbey, is a 90-minute video tour led by a virtual monk named Allison. Interesting. Okay, the high point of this attraction isn't something that you see as far as a landscape is concerned or a view or anything like that. It's going to be a 90-minute long video tour led not by a real monk, but like a computer or virtual monk named Allison. Now, Allison, isn't that normally a female name? Aren't normally monks males as well?
Yeah, but you never know about Europe. They've got a lot of weird names there, like Jacques in France. You know, that sounds female to me. But in any case here, we're at this abbey, and you can take a tour there. But this is a video tour, and this is the high point. You could also say the highlight, the climax, the most exciting part of this attraction. So you don't want to miss this video tour. And yes, monks are usually male, so it's kind of unusual that the monk's name is Allison. But in any case, this is a virtual monk, which means it's almost real.
Yeah, virtual. It means not quite real. It kind of exists in a computer world and not in the real world. That's what we mean here. Anyways, he'll take you to every nook and cranny in the abbey in search of his friend's murderer. And here we're talking about this 90-minute video tour that's led by this virtual monk named Allison. Why are you going to remember this? Because apparently it's quite entertaining, okay? You get to see every corner, every room. You are going to get a very, very detailed and exhaustive tour of this abbey.
I searched every nook and cranny of the house, but I still could not find my keys. You could also say I searched high and low. I searched far and wide. Basically, I looked everywhere. So in this particular case, you got the virtual monk, and he'll take you to every nook and cranny in the abbey because he's looking for the murderer of his friend. A murderer, of course, is someone who murders somebody else. I think they still don't know who the murderer was of the Taoyuan County magistrate, which of course happened several years ago. Murderer, somebody who murders someone.
A killer. There you go. Someone who murders or kills someone is a murderer. Anyways, more on the city of Ghent. While in Ghent, don't miss the 12th century castle of the counts. There you go. If you go to Europe, chances are you're going to see some castles. And yes, if you do go to Ghent, you won't miss out on the whole castle thing. You'll get to see a castle too, the 12th century castle of the counts. Now, more on this castle. A guillotine, a collection of torture equipment, and suits of armor are displayed inside. So, wow. You go to an abbey there in Ghent, and you search for a murderer, and then when you go to this castle of the counts there, you also get to see a guillotine, torture equipment, and also suits of armor. Wow. This is getting dark, I think, Roger.
It is. Of course, guillotine or guillotine, I guess you can pronounce it both ways, is a device to kill somebody, to execute somebody by cutting their head off. It's famous in French-speaking countries. And torture equipment. Torture just means you cause somebody discomfort, you cause them pain, usually to get information from them. Don't torture me with your boring stories. I'm sick of hearing them, for example. Every time I went to visit my uncle, he always tortured us with these stories that we've heard hundreds of times.
Yeah, but that's not real torture. He didn't actually torture
felt like
you.
It, though,
it felt like it. But here, this equipment was actually used for torture, to hurt someone or to cause them amazing pain so that they tell you something, okay? It's terrible. Torture is terrible. Anyways, you got a guillotine, which is, it's an instrument that you use to effectively cut off someone's head. How dark. Then on top of that, in this castle, you have a collection of torture equipment as well. Yes, when we're talking about equipment, by the way, we're talking about all the things you need to do something, okay? Let's say you're going mountain climbing, okay? You're going to need a good set of boots, let's say. You're going to need your walking poles there, your backpack. That would be your hiking equipment. But here, torture equipment is all the things, all the implements that you need to torture someone. Yeah, this is getting dark. This is getting grim, but I don't think they torture people in that castle anymore, so don't be worried about that. Anyways, go ahead and move on. The next sentence says, for a delicious meal, go to the Pattershall neighborhood, which has many fine restaurants. So there you go. We're going to talking about stew. Now, I've never thought of going to Belgium and getting stew, but apparently the stew there is pretty good.
Stew is kind of like a thick soup, and the first one is called stoverhay, and we've also got waterzooi. Okay, so typical local dishes that you could enjoy include stoverhay, which is a beef stew. If you like beef, this might be quite tasty for you. Don't eat it if you're a vegetarian. And we've also got Waterzooi. What's that? Well, it's a kind of stew that is made with chicken or fish.
There you go. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more on Belgium after this.
To cap off your Belgian adventure, visit Bruges, which is known as one of Belgium's most romantic cities. To understand why, visit the Lake of Love. Legend has it that a young woman died tragically and was buried by her lover under it. Now, couples that walk across the lake's bridge will have eternal love.
第二部分，我们看到片语 cap off 加名词，表示结束为做结。例如 We plan to cap off the night with a romantic dinner. 我们计划以浪漫的晚餐来结束这个夜晚。或是 It's company tradition to cap off the end of the year with a big staff party. 以盛大的员工派对为年度作结是公司的一项传统。再来，我们看到一个单字 tragically， 这个字是副词，指不幸的、悲剧的、悲惨的。举例来说 Tragically, the artist died before she could complete the work. 很不幸的，艺术家还未完成作品就去世了。另外，这个字去掉字尾的 ALL+， 就成了形容词 tragic， 指悲剧的、悲惨的、不幸的。例如The tragic love story of Romeo and Juliet is known by many people. 罗密欧与朱丽叶的悲剧爱情故事为许多人所知。或是 Many people attended Henry's funeral after the tragic road accident. 在那起悲惨的道路事故之后，许多人参加了 Henry 的丧礼。最后，我们看到形容词 eternal， 指永恒的、不朽的，像是The king sent his men out to look for the fountain of eternal youth. 那位国王差人出去寻找青春之泉。另外，在这个字的字尾加上 ly， 就成了副词 eternally， 指永恒的。我们可以说 Some religions believe that when good people die, they live eternally in heaven. 有些宗教相信好人去世之后，人会在天堂得到永生。
Okay, so we've been touring Belgium, going to the smaller cities, Dinant and Ghent. Now we're going to Bruges. So to cap off your Belgian adventure, visit Bruges, which is known as one of Belgium's most romantic cities. So that sounds like the last city you should go to, so you have a nice romantic impression of Belgium, and you're going to cap off your Belgian adventure, your trip in Belgium. And here, cap off, that just means to finish it off with something really exciting.
So yes, you want to finish off your Belgian adventure in style. You want to do this, and you want to make sure you've left nothing out, that you've really done a full and complete trip to Belgium. So visit Bruges, which is known as one of Belgium's most romantic cities. So very often people think, hey, Paris, that's the place to go to fall in love. Well, hey, you can also go to Bruges and fall in love as well because it is a romantic city. Now, to understand why, visit the Lake of Love. Legend has it that a young woman died tragically and was buried by her lover under it. Wow, how romantic.
That is so cool. Okay, so hey, you might rekindle your romance with your sweetheart if you go check out this lake because of this legend. So here we've got this pattern. Legend has it. You could also say according to legend. And according to this, there's a young woman who died tragically. She wasn't supposed to die. Maybe it was some kind of accident or something. If something's tragic, that means it's really, really sad. It wasn't supposed to happen. And because of her death or after her death, she was buried in her grave by her lover underneath that lake. That would be quite difficult to dig a grave in the water because the water would keep filling in the hole that you just dug, but maybe the grave was dug before the lake formed.
One way or another, her lover buried her here. So romantic. He wanted to make sure that she'd be remembered forever. Wow, what a guy. Anyways, now couples that walk across the lake's bridge will have eternal love. Yes, they'll be in love forever. because this guy decided to bury his lover here. He made sure that, 1, no one would ever forget her, and 2, that people would have a chance at falling in love forever. Yes, here we have the word eternal. It's an adjective. Eternal love is love that lasts forever. Yes, if you wanted to describe something that lasts forever and does not end, you can use this adjective, eternal.
Eternal. If you've seen the movie Toy Story, you always see those 3 little green aliens, and they're very thankful to Mr. Potato Head. They always say, "We are eternally grateful. We'll be grateful to you forever." Eternally, of course, is the adverb form of eternal. Love eternal. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's wrap things up now by looking at the third and final part.
Speaking of love, after visiting Belgium, you'll likely have fallen in love with this country too. After all, from a fortress to a lake of love, it has something to fit every mood.
Okay, everyone, let's wrap things up. We only have 2 more sentences to read. Yes, speaking of love, after visiting Belgium, you'll likely have fallen in love with this country too. So there you go. Go and visit the lake of love, fall in eternal love. But remember, you are in a beautiful place. You might just fall in love with that place too. And yes, Belgium is fantastic. It's awesome. It's great. You might fall in love with your wife once again or your boyfriend once again there. And that love might last forever. But who knows? You might also form a lasting love for the country of Belgium too once you have visited Belgium. So speaking of love, after visiting Belgium, you'll probably fall in love with this place. You'll want to go back again and again.
And it fits every mood. So, of course, if you're in the mood for love, Belgium is the country to visit, especially the city of Bruges. And just to add something else here, I understand that the beer in Belgium is really good, too. Some people say it's even better than German beer. So check it out if you enjoy drinking beer. So after all, you might fall in love with this country. From a fortress to a lake of love, it has something to fit every mood. If you're excited, if you're bored, or if you're falling in love, Belgium has something for you. That brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Time now to listen once again to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分介绍到圣彼得修道院，那这个景点的亮点是一段90分钟的影像导览，里面有一名虚拟修道士呢，会帮大家来做导览。好，课文用到 high point， 它是指亮点。 high point 字面的意思像是高点嘛，那它是用来表达最精彩的部分，或者是指高潮。那我们这边再补充其他的用语哦。第一个是 low point， 好，字面的意思是低点，那引申的意思就是说最差的状况、最糟糕的时刻或是低潮。例如 John hit a low point in his life when his wife divorced him。 John 的太太跟他离婚的时候，他碰到人生的低点，碰到人生低潮了。好，第二个用语呢是 turning point。 好， turning point 是指有重大或是决定性的改变，或者是指危机发生的时刻。这个 turning point 就相当于我们中文说的转捩点、转折点。像我们可以说 a turning point in one's career， 就是表达某人事业上的转捩点。好，第三个用语是 selling point。照字面上来看就是卖点，也就是产品的销售卖点，某一个会让消费者想要购买的特性或是特点。举例来说 The car's major selling point is its fuel efficiency。 省油是那辆车的主要卖点。好，那第四个用语要补充的是 breaking point。 这原本是指某一个材质啊，它达到极限而会破碎断裂的那个限度，那它可以用来表达这个体力啊、耐心或是情绪的极限或是爆发点。举例来说Tensions between the two countries had almost reached the breaking point。 那两个国家之间的紧张情势几乎已经到达临界点了，再超过就要爆发了。好，那我们接着读到课文第二部分有一个句子，他说 Legend has it that a young woman died tragically and was buried by her lover under it. 传说有一位年轻女子不幸死亡，而被她的爱人埋葬在湖底。好，这边用到的句型是 Legend has it 加上 that 子句，它表示传说怎么样怎么样。句型里面的名词 legend 它固定要用单数，那么 it 是虚受词，用来代替它后面的 that 子句。好，我们来造个例句。Legend has it that the woods used to be filled with bears. 传说那座森林里面曾经有很多熊。好，那其他其实还有类似的句型哦，我们可以用 rumor has it 或者是 word has it 加上 that 子句来表达谣传怎么样，传言怎么样怎么样。举例来说，Word has it that the company is going to lay off half of its staff. 有传言说啊，那间公司要裁掉一半的员工，他们要准备大幅裁员咯。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Murderer. Police believe the murderer must be someone the victim knew well. Torture. The prisoner confessed to the crime only after several days of torture.Equipment. Josh decided to take up skiing, so he searched online for used equipment. Armor. As a reward for winning the competition, the king gave the knight a new suit of armor. Eternal. Mrs. Robinson asked her students to debate whether eternal life would be a blessing or a curse.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. Are there any places in your country that are associated with romance?
So I'm American and Canadian. I can't think of a place in America really that's associated with falling in love. But hey, in Canada there, in French Canada, in Quebec, there is a city called Montreal. It's kind of like the Paris of North America.
Well, according to legend, my hometown is associated with love because there used to be an Indian burial ground there. And of course, the story goes that a young couple died tragically there and were buried there. So lots of people go to those burial mounds to sanctify their love for each other.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.